All right, today what we're going to talk about is our probability unit. So we'll be focusing on set theory and Venn diagrams. First, we need to get started with some vocabulary. So make sure you copy this down along with the examples. So the first thing we need to know is universal set. So it'll probably be something to where it's a U, and then it's a set containing all of the elements. Oops. So it'll contain all the elements that we're talking about. So here's your example here. So it could be number of students in the class. And then, so this is everything. Now within there, you can have a set. So you could have set A, set B, set so on. So it's just the collection of things. So we could have set A or 9th graders, set B would be 10th graders, set C would be 12th graders, and so on and so forth. Now element is a member within a set. So of set A, so of my 9th graders, I could have Maddie, Jack, so on and so forth. So whoever 9th graders in my class. And then there's a subset. It looks like a U turned to the side or a U with a line underneath it. Those mean it's elements that are also in another set, so subset. So you could say A is a subset of U, B subset of U. So A would be within U. So A, set A, is in U. So if you were to have U, A could be in here, or B could be in there. All right. Cardinality is just a total number. So it looks like the absolute value, or you'll see an N here. That just means how many are in set A, and there's 14 in set B. And then equal sets, makes sense. It's the sets that have all of the same elements. So A equals B or A does not equal B. And then you have empty set. So you'll either see your braces with nothing in it, or it'll be like null set there. So it's a set that contains no elements. So set C, I don't have any 12th graders for math 2. So this would be the correct answer, or an example. All right, and then within that, we have some words that you need to know so we can determine what we're looking for. So first one is union. It looks like a U, but with no tail on it. It contains elements presented in the given set. So it's all the elements within each set. So union, you could have A and B, so that would mean all of A and B together. Then you have intersection. It looks like an upside down U, and it's what they both have in common. So it's where they would intersect, or what they have in common for both sets. Now this is complement. You can see it written a few different ways. So you can have A with the C power. I know we've said the prime, but this is complement in this case, right? And so it's elements not in A, but it's in the universal set. And then disjoint just means set that contains no common elements. So some vocab to make sure you understand. And now let's practice some. All right, so here's my example. So this is the universal set, has colors red, green, blue, yellow, orange, and purple. So this is the universal set. So now we want to look for, see if I can get all the colors in there. There it goes. Okay, so we want to look for the union of A and B. So when we're looking for a union, we're looking for all of whatever's in set A and B. Well, A is red, green, and blue, and B is red, yellow, orange. So we're not going to list red twice. So we're going to list red, green, blue, yellow, and orange, because these two are the same. So red, green, blue, yellow, orange. And then we typically put these in curly brackets to denote that's the set. All right. And then for the intersection is what they both have in common. So it's where they would overlap. Well, in this case, didn't we just say sets A and B have red in common? So that's why your answer is there. And then the last part, it wants you to find the complement. So for the complement of A, it's going to be everything except for what's in set A. So you would cross everything out. So if I were to come here, and we'd say it's everything except for what's in set A. So I've got red and, let's see. I've got red here, so I have to cross that out. I've got green here, so cross that out, and I've got blue here, cross that out. So what I'm left with are those, and this would be the complements, everything except for what's in A. And that's what we've got here, yellow, orange, purple. So look at the universal set, Reset. There you go. Okay, so now what I want you to do is I want you to go through and you're going to complete the rest of these. Now it does get a little tricky once you get a little bit further down, because here you want to find the union of A and C. So you want all of A and all of C, but you want the complement. So you want everything except for what's in A and C. So really, when you do this, you're just going to get nothing, because you've got red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. Well, isn't that basically here? So for this one, it is tricky. So that would be, that's your answer. That's it. So that's a tricky one. So just make sure you're reading this carefully and then knowing which signs you're looking for. And of course, we'll double check those. All right, now let's talk about a Venn diagram. So Venn diagrams you've done before, it may have been a little bit since you've done them, but it's just represented by a circle, and it's usually drawn inside of a box containing a universal set. So everything within here is a universal set. Any overlapping areas indicate elements have in common to both sets. So like here would be overlapping. And then basic Venn diagrams can illustrate the intersection of 2 or 3 sets. So let's just go ahead and let's just look at here. So we're going to answer the questions. What are the elements of set A? So everything within this circle is set A, which would be 2, 8, 4, 6. And then for elements of set B, well, everything within this circle is set B, which would be 2, 3, 5, 7. And now we want to know the intersection. So the intersection is right here, which is 2. And we want to know the union, so it's wherever these two meet. So it's going to be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now we want to know the complement. So it's going to be everything except for A, and don't forget this guy out here. So this would be the complement of A. And then the complement of B would be everything except for what's in B. And don't forget that one out there too. All right. So just make sure you're reading it carefully, but it's a good way to organize information. All right, so now we're going to get into completing or filling out some Venn diagrams. Now I've already done this one for you. So it says in a class of 100 students, so your total should equal 100. 21 signed up for only chorus. So I kind of organized it already here. I said A was going to be chorus. So only chorus means it is on the outside. It's not the middle part, so it's only here. 29 sign up for only band, so for B, which is band. So that would be 29 out here, so we're not looking at the middle. But now when we say 25 take both, that's the middle part. That's where they overlap. Now, here's a very important part people typically forget. 45 students are not enrolled in either. So they are not within the set, but there are 100 total students. So now that we've got this, which is in neither, let's start looking. So what are the sets of A and B? So for A, we've got 21 plus 5, plus 29. So you get 26 plus 29, which is 55. And then for the intersection, you're looking here, which is 5. And then for the complement, we want everything except for A, which would be 74. And then for the complement of B, we want everything except for what's in B. And then here, we want everything except for what is in A and B. So if it's in A or B, we don't want it. So we just want 45. And then if we want everything except for the intersection, that's where you're going to get 21, 29, 45 to give you 95. All right, so just filling it out and then making sure that your total numbers all add to equal 100. All right, so now this one is a triple diagram, and it looks very confusing at first, but once you kind of get how to fill it out and get the strategies for it, it's not as bad, but it does look pretty overwhelming at first. All right, so one of the things is you have 50 students were surveyed, so when you add everything up, that should all equal 50. That's your universal set. And so they're just going to give, and I've already labeled the circles for you. So all of this is TikTok, all of this is Instagram, and all of this is Snap. So the best strategy is to start with what they have in common, and then you can go ahead and start here, and then you can kind of work your way up. So 3 are right here because that's for all 3. So now we're going to look, and it says 10 are Snapchat and Instagram. Well, Snapchat and Instagram both overlap here. So I know that since I already have 3, I have 7 here because this is 3 plus 7 equals 10. And then for the next one, I know that 7 are TikTok and Snapchat. Well, TikTok and Snapchat would be here. Well, I already have 3, so I need 4 more to get 7. And then now we're going to look at the next part where it says 9 are Instagram and TikTok. So Instagram and TikTok would be this middle section here, but I already have 3, so I know this is going to be 6 because you've got 6 plus 3, which would be 9. All right, 19 are Snapchat users, so that's telling you the total 19. All of this should equal 19. So I've already got 10, 4, so I've already got 14. So in order to get 19, this has to be 5. And I'm going to write that in black, but I'll highlight it yellow. And then, there we go. All right, and then now I'm going to look, 26 are TikTok users. So that means this whole circle has to be, this whole circle needs to be 26. So I've got 13. So I got to go 26 minus 13, and that's going to give me 13 will go here. We'll go ahead purple. All right, and then last but not least, because we have 2 more steps to do. All right, now we have 21 are Instagram users. So this whole circle should equal 21. So I've already got 16, so I got to go 21 minus 16, which is going to give you 5. So I know that this part is going to be 5. Now there's one last part we haven't talked about. How many haven't done any at all? So you've got to go through and add all these up. And then don't forget, you still have, let's see, what's the color I have not used? So how many are not on social media? Well, you've got to add all of this together and then subtract 100 minus all of this, and then that's going to give you 7. So there's actually 7 that did not have any social media, and that's what you're going to put there. So how many students are on Instagram only? So Instagram would be Instagram only. So it would just be this part right here, which is 5. And we said that there's 7 that is not on social media. And then we want to know how many are Instagram and TikTok only. So Instagram and TikTok, they overlap, here, they overlap here for Instagram and TikTok. So this is where the 6 is going to be. All right. So it's just going through and completing all of it. But like I said, once you kind of start with the total amounts first, it's a lot easier to fill out the information. And don't forget the ones that are not on social media too. All right, I want you to go ahead and try this. I labeled the circles for you. And then, like I said, start with how many, include all, and then work your way up from there. All right, and that is set theory and Venn diagrams.